One of the criteria that we should use when evaluating decisions after we've made them and implemented them is their ethicalness. There are at least 3 different ways of thinking about the ethicalness of a decision. The first is utilitarianism, which occurs when decisions are made solely on the basis of their outcomes or consequences. A focus on utilitarianism promotes efficiency and productivity. The problem is that because the decision is providing the greatest good for the greatest number of people, there are going to be a few individuals, particularly those in the minority group, who are not going to be represented, whose voice is not going to be heard. The focus on rights is another approach. It calls for decisions to be consistent with fundamental universal liberties, such as those presented in the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and other sacred documents. If we take this approach, we might measure decisions by how well they protect people from getting hurt at work, or how well they protect people's privacy, because in the United States, we believe people have a right to safety and a right to privacy. The third criterion is justice. Following this approach, decisions are made based on rules and an equitable distribution of resources. Unions and their members typically favor this particular approach. A focus on justice helps protect the minority groups, the underrepresented, and attempts to empower them. So how do we increase the likelihood that we will make an ethical decision? First, we have to make sure that we establish a culture of fairness. Policies should be explicit and specific. There should be plenty of role models who receive rewards and recognition for their ethical behavior, and there should be clear consequences for unethical behavior. We should also consider how the environment can affect behavior. This includes culture, but also things in the physical environment. For example, displays of wealth and status can actually encourage a culture of putting profits over people. We should encourage conversations about moral issues, take the time to discuss ethical dilemmas with our followers, and help them make better decisions. Their experiences can also help us learn and grow. Related to that is being aware of our own moral blind spots. We tend to see ourselves as more moral than we really are, in part because we don't always recognize when we made the wrong decision. Consider cultural differences and how the culture in which we live outside the organization can impact how we perceive right and wrong. What is ethical in one culture may be unethical in another culture.